As all of my loyal fans know by now, I studied geography in university a long time ago. I was focused on human geography, which means I took a lot of classes on things like urban design and how we as people make use of our physical space and how the choices we make impact the community. While I didn't pursue a career related to my degree, not directly anyway, I remain fascinated by the wide breadth of topics that fall under the umbrella of geography. And that's why I get a kick out of YouTube channels like City Nerd, Not Just Bikes, and a few others. I appreciate their focus on promoting better communities through sharing their knowledge on topics such as urbanism, public transport, protected bike lanes, and more. I encourage you to check out their channels if you haven't before. They've kind of indirectly inspired this video, in a way, because I always want them to cover East Asia, but it always seems to be outside the scope of what they choose to cover. So today, I'll be doing what they don't. I will be sharing with you why I think China has one of the best metro systems in the world, especially from a human-first functionality standpoint. I will be illustrating my points by taking you on a journey on the Shenzhen Metro, from an old station to one of the newest and maybe most impressive stations you've ever seen. Because this is my first attempt at a video like this on my channel, if you like it, make sure you let me know by commenting, subscribing, or giving it a like. We start today's journey outside of SeaWorld Station. Every single subway entrance clearly provides passersby with relevant information, including which subway lines this station serves. Each line is color-coded and numbered. So here, as you can see, we have line 2 in brown and line 12 in purple. We also have the exit clearly labeled as exit C, and the signs are in both English and Chinese. If we move around to the side of the exit here, we can see exactly when the station opens and closes, as well as the times of the first and last trains departing the station in each direction on each line. You can also clearly see information for people with disabilities, a service hotline, and toilet information. And speaking of people with disabilities, in China, especially tier 1 cities like Shenzhen, they have worked hard to improve accessibility in order to ensure universal access. This means that all over the city they have added tactile pavement, as well as things like curb cuts for wheelchairs or bikes at every intersection. The tactile pavement here, as you can see, it leads from the main sidewalk along the road to the elevator, which gives you access to the subway station. Unfortunately though, many people don't seem to understand the purpose of tactile paving, so they park their e-bikes over it. Hopefully this can be fixed through education programs in the future. The handicap accessible exit has the exact same information posted as the standard exit. Additionally, you'll see that if you need help accessing the station, the number for assistance is posted, and I've definitely seen people using this service a number of times during my decade plus in China. Now, let's head underground. In order to ride the train, you first have to go through a perfunctory security check. Incredibly, with the massive volume of riders in China, these security checks do not clog the stations. If riders had to fumble around with cards or tickets or coins, this would also clog up the stations. I know it because it used to be that way. People in the past used to need to go to a machine and buy a ticket or a refillable card. And while this is still technically possible, thankfully now the subway is fully integrated with WeChat and Alipay, and the vast majority of riders in China can now quickly and easily activate their ride through one of these ubiquitous apps. There is no need for any extra download, no need for cash, no need for tokens. People can move in and out of the station efficiently and without any added stress of carrying cash, credit cards, or any physical rider pass of any kind. Some stations now have even begun the conversion to facial recognition, further reducing the friction of moving in and out of the station. I will refrain from commenting on whether or not this is a good idea or an infringement on privacy, but I'm sure some of you will have opinions and you will share them in the comments. Now that we are down in the depths, ready to get on the train, let's take a look more closely as to why the trains are so functional from a user-focused human point of view. Again, all of the metro lines are distinctly numbered and colored. This naming convention is standardized across China, so that if you take the train in Shanghai or Beijing or Chengdu or anywhere else in mainland China, you will already be well accustomed to how it works. I don't want to speak to how it's done in other countries, but I have been to places where some trains are labeled as a color, some are a number, and some are a letter or a word. And there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason in one city, let alone across the different transit networks countrywide. In China, it's all standardized. We'll also find that here in Shenzhen and other major Chinese cities, the trains typically run every 4 to 6 minutes. This means that you never have to search for a timetable to know exactly when the next train is coming. If you missed a train, you will not be waiting long for the next one. Additionally, it is very rare to find two lines that share one same track. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head is line 3 and line 4 in Shanghai, and that's only at a few stations. For the most part, if you are unsure of where you're going, or if you're going in the right direction, all you need to do is simply look at the track map above the platform. The direction on the side you are going has all of the future stations in the color of the line you are on, while past stations will all be grayed out. So if you are on the wrong side, you simply walk across the platform. Because of these design features, it is nearly possible to be on the wrong platform or to board the wrong train. I would call it idiot proof, but I'm sure someone out there somewhere has screwed it up at one time or another. While we are standing on the platform, we also see other design features that are mainly for safety. First, you will see that every platform is protected from the track by automatic doors or barriers. This obviously prevents accidental falls into the track, as well as self-harm, random attacks, or other violent acts that could lead to people falling into the path of an oncoming train. Another safety feature, as well as a quality of life feature, is digital displays indicating how full each train car is. People can see the congestion on the train before it arrives, and they can move down the platform to prepare to board where fewer people are, speeding up loading and unloading, as well as preventing mass crush during busier times. Now that we are riding the train, we can notice many details that continue to put the user first. As you ride, you'll find seats for people with disabilities or for the elderly, as well as entire train cars that are just for women. Though again, some further education is required because many men still do take these cars. As we ride the train and listen to announcements, we will find that, for example, here in Guangdong province, we hear Mandarin, Cantonese, and English, while in Shanghai we would hear Mandarin, Shanghainese, and English. Every city that has its own local language or dialect will get announcements in that language in addition to standard Mandarin and in English. This further increases accessibility, especially for older people who may not speak Mandarin very well because they speak their local dialect or language, and for foreigners who can't speak any Chinese language. The signage while you ride the train is also very clear. Prior to arriving at each station, you can take a look at the digital signage that gives you information including past stations, the next station, and subsequent stations, as well as any transfers available at each station. But that's not all. You'll also see which side the doors open on, and a map indicating your current position on the train, and the positions of stairs, escalators, and elevators on the upcoming station platform. Man, there's just so much going on here, isn't there? Pretty awesome, right? Well, now that we've reached our stop, we decide we want to transfer to another line. We get off the train and we walk. Signs are everywhere, still color coordinated and still in English and Chinese. Most transfer stations will have arrows and transfer information on the ground, as well as on walls and columns, and now some even have color lines running along the ceiling. This is particularly helpful in unfamiliar stations when it's especially crowded and you are unable to see the ground. We also continue to have elevators for accessibility. In some older stations that don't have elevators, however, they do have chairlifts at each set of stairs, and metro staff who are on hand to help anyone who needs it. Additionally, crack is whack. If you are still here on this video, I take it that you've enjoyed learning about all of this train stuff so far, but why don't we hop off the train and just briefly take a look at what a modern, clean, bright, brand new train station looks like here in Shenzhen. This is Gangsha Bay, or Gangsha North, in the heart of downtown Shenzhen, and it is a massive transport hub connecting lines 2, 8, 10, and 14. People will say that this station is similar to the waterfall at Changi Airport in Singapore, and while I do see the resemblance, of course, it's not quite as cool as that waterfall in my opinion, but I'm not complaining either. And that's not why we're here anyway. We're here to learn about why the subway is so good from a functionality perspective. So here again, you shouldn't be surprised to learn that all of the information about this station, including bathrooms, parent rooms, changing rooms, handicap accessibility, and more, is easily accessible from various monitors throughout the station. We're not going to cover that again. Finally, before I leave you, let's take a ride on one of the newest lines in Shenzhen. The new trains are fully automated, which means no driver. Unfortunately, for the time being, that does mean that there is still a human in the driver's position who presumably can prevent the train from an emergency as a last resort, but for the most part it seems that they just get to sit and enjoy the best view in the house. And hey, if cars can be fully automated, then I see no reason why trains can't be. One other cool feature of these new train cars is wireless charging pads for your phone or other wireless devices. This is a feature that probably can only be enjoyed in countries where people trust those around them. If you are lucky enough to be in a place with low rates of theft or petty crime, then having wireless chargers accessible for people to use is a really nice touch. Those are just some of the reasons why I would argue that the subway in China is one of, if not the best in the world from a user perspective. There are many other reasons as to why the metro is so great here, including how rapidly it continues to expand, not just in Shenzhen, but in many other cities all across China. I could go on and on and on, but I'm just going to leave it here at that. So what do you think about Chinese metro or Shenzhen metro in particular? Are there any features that your local metro has that you think China should implement? Or the other way around, any features that you see here that you wish your local subway would implement? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more videos looking at similar topics like this, please subscribe and comment and let me know that this is something that you want from my channel moving forward. Thank you and see you later. So this is line 14, one of the newest lines here in Shenzhen, and there is no driver. This train is fully automated, fully autonomous.
this lady just sits up here and observes.